Okay, Year 11, welcome. I'm going to go through Paper 2 2019. I'm going to need you to have your papers to follow along through with, and I am going to guide you through those questions. I figured we might want some sort of alien mascot to guide us through this journey, remind us that physics is the same in all galaxies of the universe, presumably, as far as we know. Let's have names for our dude in the comments, and we will make a start. So we have a spray gun. We already know that my drawing is pretty shoddy, but that's going to be okay because it's the physics that we're worried about, right? So we've got a spray gun, and what is happening is as paint comes out of the gun, it's going to get a positive charge. So basically, how are molecules becoming positively charged as they emerge from the gun? That's the multiple choice question. So question 1A, part 1, we have to choose what's going on there. And hopefully what we think is, what is the particle that's going to be added or removed to a molecule? It's going to be electrons. And if something becomes positive, it's either gaining positive charge or it's losing negative charge, and hopefully we know that electrons are very much negative, so we're going to lose electrons. Let's say we've got an atom, right, whatever, a number of protons. If we lose an electron, we've now got less electrons than we have protons, so overall it's positive. So we're going to go with answer A to start with. Right, part 2 of this question. Now, we're shown this idea that we could have a spray that kind of goes like this, or we can have the spray that we've shown in the first example that goes more like this. I'm not sure how well I've drawn that, but hopefully you can see that in front of you. And the question is why charging the paint drops is going to give us this shape of spray rather than this shape of spray. Now, hopefully what we know is that like charges repel. Like charges repel, and therefore the paint will spread out. So something to that effect, words to that effect, the idea that the paint is spreading out because the positive charges in the paint are repelling each other. Excellent. Right. Part 3, we're now saying that this is going to be used to paint a metal object. I'm going to attempt to draw, it's probably going to be what's a terrible diagram when I teach this. I've got a little video of a bike being spray painted. Oh dear Lord, I'm not quite sure what I've done here. Right, that'll have to do in some sort of metal frame anyway. I'm not sure quite how much that looks like a bike. And the question is that we're going to connect this object to Earth with a bit of metal wire, and we need to explain, so we need to say, why would we do that? Why would we connect this object to Earth with a metal wire? Now let's have a think. If we just continue to spray the object with positive paint, it's going to build up a positive charge, and then it's going to start repelling the paint, which is exactly the opposite of what we want to happen if we're trying to spray paint it. So what we need to do is we need to get rid of charge that builds up. So in this case, if we connect a metal wire to Earth, we're actually going to get electrons moving in this direction. But at GCSE, generally, so long as you just say about the idea of that metal wire can conduct the electrons, or just the fact that the metal wire is a conductor. So metal is a conductor, and therefore that will prevent charge building up on the object. So that prevents charge building up. And this is a 2-mark question again, so there's our 2 marking points, and the previous one, sorry, was 2 marks. There were our 2 marking points. And then finally, to finish off question 1, we have another 2 marker, and this time we're going to imagine that we have 2 metal plates, a positively charged plate and a negatively charged plate, and what we have to do here is draw the direction of an electric field. Now, easy bit. Hopefully you remember that if we've got positive and negative, we're going to have electric field lines and straight lines like this going across. Now at the edges, you could be right to say they're going to curve a bit, but again at this stage they're going to be interested in these straight lines in the middle. So whether or not you've got those curved bits at the end doesn't matter. Now the question is, how do you remember that the field goes in a particular direction? What you've got to remember, this is how you need to remember, is what would a positively charged object do when placed into that electric field? Well, hopefully you can see if we place a positively charged object here, it's going to repel from the positives and it's going to attract to the negatives. And so that is the direction of our field. And that is your first 7 marks on this paper. All right. As I say, names for our alien in the comments. And if you like this, I will go on and do the rest of the questions.